Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hi, my co-reporters. I see we've got Abby in the house. Hey Abby, nice to have you here. I think this is like the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, that I am doing a stream of Love Island. It's funny because I really loved that season where they had, what's the name of that girl? Do you guys remember Carol? I don't know if she was Brazilian or not, but she had the really like big curly like hair and she wound up with that guy who was like a dentist or whatever, studying to be a dentist. And I don't know, like I really love it. I don't know why I never recapped it, but let me know if you are a fan of Love Island as well. Well, I imagine you are, but like, are you like a diehard fan like you are with some of the other shows that I cover on my channel? Let me know. So I did a little bit of digging on some of these people on the cast, and I found some stuff that was a little bit surprising. For example, do you guys remember Carol? I'm going to put a picture of her right here, but Carol, she's the one who's got like the big boobs and stuff like that. It says in her thing, here it is, Meet the Islanders. I'm going to show you a surprising fun fact that they showed about her because that kind of threw me for a loop. So do you guys see my screen? Let me just make sure that I see it. It's on two different Google windows. Okay, so here it is. So on this page on NBC, they talk about meet the cast and stuff. Oh, you watched the episode? That's awesome, Abby. Hi, Jasmine. Nice to have you here. So they talk about a couple of like fun facts about the cast and stuff like that. So here you go. So we've got Felipe, the Brazilian guy. What do you guys think of him, by the way? To me, he is so hot. I think he's the most physically attractive guy there. Like, he's buff without being too buff. And then he's got like a nice, like neutral face. Like it's not too hot. I don't like when a guy is like too hot, quote unquote. Like he's hot, but like it's enough. And he's not like pretty. I don't like pretty boys either. So his fun fact is that he's lived in more than 10 countries, which is quite interesting considering he's only 32 years old. Right now he's living in Dubai. I wonder what he considers living to be. Is it spending a year? Is it spending a couple of months? Because 10 countries at 32 is a lot, you know. Maybe he's like some kind of a nomad. So, well, digital nomad. Or maybe it's because of modeling. Like sometimes, you know, for fashion weeks or whatever, he has to stay in a certain place for a certain, you know, for a bit longer. I'm not sure, but I am quite curious about that. Then we've got Andy's fun fact. This guy, I think this is the one with the annoying voice. Is he the one from Minnesota? Yeah. This guy is my least favorite, you guys. He's one of my least favorites. I hate his voice. I just hate the way he speaks. His vibe, I don't like it. So, yeah, his fun fact is not that much. This is another guy who I thought was like one of the hottest. I forget his name already. I'm so bad. Jesse. So Jesse to me is very, very hot. But then when we get to Caroline, her fun fact, you guys, is that she's had 19 plastic surgeries. Listen, there's nothing wrong with plastic surgery, of course, but 19 to me was a little bit shocking. I was wondering, did you do all of that like at the same time, or did you go under anesthesia 19 times? Because if she did that 19 separate times, Lord, is she ever strong, because it is not easy to go under anesthesia and wake up from that. Like it's hurt, like it's not painful, but like it just sucks. So here it is, you guys, her fun fact. She's had 19 plastic surgeries. So when I was looking at her, I saw that her nose was done. Of course, the boobs were done, but I was wondering what else could have been done. Like, did she get lipo or something like that? Chin implant, brow lift? I don't know. But like, what, like, I didn't even know, like 19, what could she have possibly had done? I'm quite curious about it. One thing I do like is that she is very open about this. Like she's being very forthcoming. So that's really exciting. But I'm just curious, like what can you get done 19 different things? Or maybe she had 19 separate things like revisions. Because sometimes people get revisions on rhinoplasties or whatever. I don't know. Or boob jobs. I don't know. Maybe it could have been something like that. By the way, you guys, if you hear a sound in the background, it's the dishwasher. I was trying to run it earlier, but it wasn't working. And now conveniently, when I go on stream, it's suddenly working. You should do this with the UK version. It's always so much better. You know, is the UK version on Peacock? I'm always so like out of the loop on that. Like the good stuff always drops when I'm in the middle of moving or doing something like drastic with my life. But so let's get to the top of the episode, shall we? So Courtney, the one we're looking at right now, she's actually one of my favorite girls. I really loved her intro package. I thought that she had a wicked, like good sense of humor. Like she's so funny. She does not take herself too seriously at all. Like I loved her humor. So far I'm really liking her. Then Andy, like I told you guys, He's a little annoying to me. I don't like his vibe. I don't like his voice. I don't like his attitude. I don't really like him that much. I'm curious, who are you guys' like favorite and least favorite? Because Andy might be my least favorite. And I'm trying to think who my least favorite girl is. I really like the girls. I'm a girls girl. Like I usually root for women. So yeah, it's usually the guys that I'm not that into. Serenity. So Serenity stepped forward for Andy. No one else stepped forward for him but her. And I'm like, Serenity, why would you step up for him? Like he's just not the business, you know? And like I felt so like, ugh, girl. Like I kind of felt like she was like, okay, well, no one else is gonna step up for him, which means I don't have competition, which means he's gonna like pick me automatically. And it didn't end up working that way. Like he went for Courtney instead. And you know, my feelings were hurt for Serenity. And the thing is, in his intro package, Andy said that he was into blondes, which I perceive as code word for into like white girls exclusively, which is fine. But it's like, and Serenity didn't know that. So it just kind of like felt a little awkwardly for her. So yeah, like I definitely felt some kind of way for her. I was like, ouch. And he didn't even like look back or say, sorry, like you're beautiful. But like I gravitated towards Courtney, then go towards Courtney. He was like, Courtney, peace out, Serenity, and kept on going. There's another guy who like is so irritating to me, the way he speaks. This guy, Timmy. Guys, what did you think about Timmy? Because to me, he speaks in cliches, and I really do not like when people speak in cliches. He speaks like a meme. Like he's always, like I didn't like write down like specific examples, but it's like, stuff like ain't nothing to it but to do it. Oh, like just stuff like that. That's just so cliche. It's like, I feel like people like that have a fear of being vulnerable. So they just like act up with a lot of these like meme kind of things, like to be funny. And I don't like it. So that was something that really turned me off with Timmy. Like he was someone I would not be able to last more than 1 hour with. Like he would drive me nuts. And the funny thing is that Serenity is like that as well. Like Serenity also speaks very meme-like. Like she's just always using like, like the hottest like phrases and stuff like that, and I really don't like that. It's like, you guys, it's okay to be yourselves. Just be comfortable, talk normally. It's fine. You don't have to use these catchphrases. It's okay. Andrea, hey, it would be max 19 separate times, but she may have gotten a few things done at the same time. See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, maybe the person who wrote like the stat did not write it properly, because I cannot imagine someone going through this 19 different times. Like it's not easy. You know what I mean? So I would imagine that she would stack, like usually people stack like 2 or 3 procedures, and then go through that, like 5 times or something like that. That makes a lot more sense than going through one at a time 19 times. And it seems like more efficient too. Okay, Don Hulu, thank you so much, Tracy, for that. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm assuming she picks him out of, see, that's what I felt like, Dre. I'm like, you're picking this man out of pity. He's not even your type, and he's gonna swerve you anyway. Like, how double embarrassing is that? It's kind of like, when people say don't go for like ugly guys or whatever, like if you're girls are always prettier than guys, okay? So, pretty girls, stop going for like ugly guys, because they're going to start treating you like you're the ugly one in the relationship, and they're going to play you and stuff like that. I see that all the time on TikTok, especially now with Emily Ratajkowski being cheated on by her husband, who, is not as cute as her. Okay. Like he's okay, but like she's Emily, you know what I mean? So yeah, people have been saying that, stop doing that. And it seems like that's what Serenity went for. I'm not saying Andy's ugly. He's not ugly. All the people on the show are very attractive, but she went for someone that she was not attracted to. You always have to go for what you're attracted to, and do not settle, do not pity, no charity work, ladies, because the men do not appreciate that. They will always act up. So, by the way, speaking of Timmy, he actually wound up choosing Zeta to be his match. And I think they make a beautiful couple, and I'm interested to see what happens over there. She stepped forward for him, and it was nice. Then I have a question for you guys. Isaiah comes along, and does anyone else think he looks exactly like Andy? To me, they look the exact same. I'm going to have a hard time differentiating between the two of them. I think the only difference is that Isaiah's face is a little bit more like feminine than Andy's face. I don't know what it is about it, but it reads a little bit more feminine to me. But otherwise, they look the exact same. Like in this photo, the strip photo of the guys, you've got Isaiah, then Andy, from left to right. And if I didn't know any better, I would think it was two angles of the same guy, two different photos of the same guy. Like they just look so similar. Like they could at least be brothers or something like that. Jesse comes along, you guys. And like I said a little bit earlier, he is so attractive to me. Like him and my Brazilian guy are like the two guys that I find to be the most attractive, him and Felipe. I think Felipe has a little bit of an edge over Jesse in the body department because Jesse has a wonderful body, but it's too buff for me. I don't like, too much muscle. But I think that Jesse's like personality and vibe is a lot more attractive to me than Felipe's. Like Felipe seems nice and fun and exciting and stuff, but Jesse just seems warm. I really do like him. So I don't know. I'm a little bit torn between the two guys. I don't know. I would step forward for the both of them. That's for sure. So and by the way, I am definitely rooting for Isaiah as well. Speaking of really like genuinely nice seeming people, Isaiah is another one who seems to be a really kind person. So I am rooting for him as well. Like those are my people for right now. What does Abby say? Are they cousins or do they have the same surgeon? Who knows? You really never know these days. But yeah, they do look so much alike. It's crazy. So, and by the way, Jesse's voice is so attractive. Like I really, really, really love like the way he speaks and stuff. It's like a nice, deep, rich voice that I am obsessed with. He's got the best voice in the house. So Debbie steps forward for Jesse, and she's the only woman who does so, which really surprised me because I thought that he would get the most girls. Like when he came out, I was like, that's it. All the girls are going to go for him. Courtney, she's going to ditch that Minnesota guy and step forward for Jesse because he is undeniably attractive. But only Debbie stepped forward. And I was a bit shocked by that. Like, did anybody else have that reaction? The thing is, I feel like this season of the show, the ladies are not as aggressive as usual. Like I remember Caro's season, she was stepping forward for everybody. She was like in there like swimwear, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, I'm quite surprised to see, the girls not really no one like decided to try to switch their match or anything like that. I don't know. Do you guys think that they're really trying to pay attention to what the viewers want and they know that the viewers would not like someone who's too quote unquote thirsty or too quick to give someone up without getting to know them, too superficial? I don't know, but yeah, I was disappointed in the matchup ceremony. I wanted to see more fire from the girls and more like, city girls kind of thing. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, Felipe, by the way, I told you guys he's so hot. He's got a great face, great body. And he actually matches up with Sereniti. So that was really sweet. Again, I was surprised that it was only Sereniti that stepped forward for him because he's so well, I guess that's the thing. When everybody's attractive, you don't really, you know what I mean? It's like, am I going to like step forward and risk being rejected in front of my match and ruining that dynamic for someone who's like in the same league? Like they're all 10s. So maybe that's it. Do you guys think that's it? Like when there's not that big of a variation? I don't know. But that was interesting to see them kind of couple up. And Courtney. So Courtney, who is paired up with Andy, he starts like the whole mama's boy thing. I always see this as a red flag in men when they start talking about like their moms and stuff off the bat. I think they want to lull you into a false sense of security that they're not misogynistic, that they will treat you right, that they value women. But usually it's just a scam. They're playing you. They really want you to get your guard down so you don't expect the stuff that they're going to put you through, and they will probably put you through the freaking ringer. And I was so proud of Courtney for peeping game on that. She's like, I don't know, like it's a little bit weird, like he seems a little too attached and stuff like that. And the fact that he works with his mom and he lives with her and he just talks nonstop about her, it's like his mom is his girlfriend basically, so there's no room for Courtney or any other women. And on top of that, there's two other worries. Number one is that the mom is going to be one of those weirdo moms, because sometimes those moms are out there where they see their own son as like a boyfriend and they get jealous whenever he has a girlfriend or a wife. And then, they really start to ruin your own dynamics with your man. Or number two, on the flip side, it could be that she's worried that Andy is the type of guy who's only looking for a replacement mom. Because again, there are a lot of men like that, mama's boys, who talk about how, they're looking to find a woman who's exactly like their mom, which means they want a woman who's going to cook for them, who's going to burp them, who's going to change their diapers, who is going to like do everything in the house, everything. And they get to just like rest easy. They're not even like taking care of you financially. These men usually you're going 50-50 with them. So you're just taking the biggest L of all time. But he seems like that type. Like he wants a woman to do everything for him the way that his mom did everything for him. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Andrea says, it's just how they look. It's such a typical look, dark hair, parted that way, and chiseled jaw. It might be it. I'm just feeling like, yeah, like that's the thing about these guys. Like I didn't find either of them to be my type, like Andy or like his doppelganger, Isaiah. They're just not my type. It's too, like you said, it's too cookie cutter. You know, I don't like it. Drea says, you are 1,000% right about mama's boys. It's also a red flag because you know the mom, yes, will be a nightmare to deal with. Yes, high likelihood of emotional incest. That's the word. That's the term I was looking for. Thank you, Drea. Yeah, the emotional incest. You do not want to get anywhere near that. You know, it's either that or it's the guy looking to have you basically be like, you know, his mom, take care of him. And that's just not attractive either. So did you see the part where he just keeps going on and on about his mom? And then Courtney, she's like, yeah, normal. Yeah. So she's just so ready to get rid of him. And I love that for her. The only thing is, I think that she wants to go for Felipe, who currently is Serenity's guy. And I think that Serenity genuinely likes him. I think that he went for her because she's attractive and stuff like that. But you know, he's definitely leaving his options open, as we'll get into a little bit later on in the recap. We'll see an example of that. But yeah, it looks like Serenity might lose Felipe to Courtney or somebody else. I don't want to get too ahead of myself there, but it does seem like that is what is going to happen there. So, you know, it doesn't surprise me as well, because when Felipe entered into the house, Courtney's jaw dropped. She was like, oh my God. That's why I was so surprised that she did not step forward, or like the other girls. Like they were all like, when it came to him, like there was a huge reaction. Him and Jesse as well. Those were the ones that I really noticed. But surprisingly, it was only like one girl who stepped forward for each of the guys. I guess they don't want to like step on anybody's toes yet or anything like that. And by the way, Felipe described his type. He said that he really likes brunettes, and Courtney is a brunette. So I can totally see them like trying to figure things out, hooking up, or something, anything in between. Can we get into Debbie, you guys? Do you like her? What do you think about Debbie? I like her. Listen, by default, I like everybody, you know, on the start of an episode, unless they do something egregious. But she said something like twice that really like made me feel like secondhand embarrassment for her. Like, she's paired with Jesse, you know, she's really attracted to him and stuff, and he's attracted to her. But Jesse and Felipe, at this point, they sneak out of the villa because there was two new, you know, ladies who texted the house about like entering, and like, you know, two guys having to go out and have a date with them. Jesse volunteered himself to go on the date, and then so did Felipe, okay? And then everybody else, they didn't notice at this point, but Deb is sitting down, they're all talking to each other, and they're asking each other what their ideal type is. And Debbie says that her ideal type is anybody who gives her attention. So her type is attention. I'm like, Debbie, I know you think that's quirky and that's cute, but it's anything but. It's just very like unbecoming, in my opinion anyway. Like if a guy said that to me, I'd be like, ew, like, okay, like gross. Like, so you have no standards basically? Like, no, I don't like that. You know what I mean? And so I feel like the other people looked at her that way too. They were all kind of like, yeah, like I'm embarrassed for you. I did see Courtney and somebody else. I don't know if it was Zeta or who, but some people even snickered at that statement because it was just so thirsty. It was giving low self-esteem. It was giving no standards, and it was just not attractive, you know? I have to ask you guys a question. Are you surprised that Felipe and Jesse snuck out to go on the dates with the two mystery girls? I was surprised by Jesse because he seemed to really be into Debbie. And number two, because his thing in his welcome package was about how no one treats women as well as him. And what does he do? He ghosts his chick after gassing her up like that. You know, this is why, like, you always have to be careful of these guys who try to like make you think they're like these nice guys, these good guys. It's always a damn scam. You know, I was really disappointed in him, I have to say. And I felt really bad when Serenity came out looking for Felipe, and like then they had to break the news. I was like, you know, she looked like she was so excited to get to know him more. You know, I didn't like it. You know, I feel like the guys should have been men about it. just be a man about it. Way to butcher that song. You know, I feel like they should have been men about it and just like admitted, like, hey, listen, girls, like, we really like you, but we just got texted that we have to go out on a date with like these two girls. You know, maybe make up a little white lie about it. Like, you know, we pulled straws or sticks or whatever, and I had the shortest one. So I have to go check this out, you know, and see how it goes. Okay. Like that kind of thing would have been a lot better than just ghosting like that. I didn't like it. Lexi says, yeah, the mama's boy is definitely a super red flag. See, I'm so happy none of you guys are going to fall for that stuff. Like these guys will always sell themselves up as these good guys. And it's just not true. When guys start talking about blondes and brunettes, yes, me too. I'm like, all right, backing up out of here. Nope. I'm not going for that. It was so unfortunate that Sereniti didn't know. Like she was just out there, you know, stepping forward. And yeah, that was never going to happen. Sadly, you know. But yeah, I'm glad that she did pair up with Felipe because Felipe and Jesse are like the two hottest for me. So I think that she leveled up anyway. Nobody wanted Andy. And I don't think she even wanted Andy. That's like the saddest part. Like you did this out of pity. You did this out of charity. And look what happened, you know? Alexander, he says, Kendall Jenner is dating Alex Bolden. Alex Bolden is a star swimmer. Oh, I thought she just got back together with, who's that guy? Devin Booker. Okay. I'm going to look into that, Alex. Thanks so much. Babe, no, I know. I felt so bad when Debbie was doing that. It just was so unbecoming. I think it really plummeted her stock in the eyes of a lot of guys. Like, you know, I think men and women, you don't want to be with somebody who would go for anybody. Like you want to feel like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like this is a genuine attraction on both ends. Like, you know, they could be with other people, but they want to be with me, like that kind of thing. You don't want to be like, oh, well, this person, you know, is like, you know, a McDonald's 24/7 drive-through. Like, let's just go for it. Like no one wants that. No one treats women as well as me. Yes, Andrea, another freaking red flag. She also says, nice guys are a pandemic themselves. Yes, I swear to God, you guys are so on the ball. I am loving this. Okay. So yeah, it's very true. Like I was really, really disappointed with Jesse. Like I was saying earlier, he seemed like such a sweet, genuine, nice guy talking about, oh, my mom and my grandma raised me. No one treats women better than me. He's got the Jesus and the God and this and that, like really trying to sell an image that is just not him at the end of the day, which is unfortunate. Listen, guys, I didn't have too much content on this episode because it is just like the premiere episode, but stay tuned because I know like they're doing this every day, 6 days a week or something like that. So I'll be back tomorrow for another recap of the next episode, which I believe will be a lot more juicy. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I will see you in my next videos. Take care. Bye.